Hey everyone. Alright, so this video is going to be talking about scarring liquid, better known as rigid collodion. This one is by Mehron. You can get it from their website, mehron.com. But yeah, this stuff pretty much gives the effect of scars on the skin. What it does is it's a liquid, you paint it on, and when it dries, it tenses up the skin to create an indentation, and that helps with the effect of creating scars or little open cuts and stuff like that. You can see I applied it, and I show you how to use it later in the video, but first I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks about the product and give you some information about it as well. So like I said earlier, it is a liquid that when it dries, it creates the scarring effect on the skin. The more layers you apply of it, the more intense the scar is. So on certain areas you can see it's deeper than others, like right here and right here, I did more layers. Everywhere else I did the same amount before adding more to those. So yeah, you can create as much depth as you want with it, and you can create like a little scar if you want to that isn't as deep. You just would apply less layers. Just like any other product, what I recommend with this is that you do like a test area to make sure you're not allergic to it or you don't have like a reaction or anything like that. There's two spots that I really recommend people test products, only because you don't really see just in case you do break out. A lot of places say to test like in the bend of your elbow, but if you get a rash right there, you have to wear long sleeve shirts to cover it. So I always tell people to test behind the back of your ear. The skin's a little sensitive right there, so if you do have a reaction, you won't really notice it as much because your ear will cover it, and if you have longer hair, you can pull your hair down. And then also, if you don't have a lot of hair in the way on your thighs, test a patch on the inside of your thigh. That skin as well, you can hide it easily. You can wear a pair of shorts, you can wear pants, whatever. So yeah, those are the two areas that I recommend that you test products. Mainly the one behind the ear though. One thing I do recommend when you are using this product is to avoid high stress areas or areas of your face that have a lot of movement. Only because this product does stay on for hours. It will stay on for hours. It'll last through like your whole con. It'll last through a whole stage performance. It will stay on, but the edges can start to peel up, and as soon as your edges start to peel, everything else will start to peel with it. So if you put it in an area where the skin moves a lot, then it's going to cause it to start peeling a lot sooner than you want it to. Yeah, you just want to avoid high stress areas, so that way you can actually have this product stay on and look good for whatever you're using it for. If you do put this in a high movement area on your face, there's a way to avoid it from peeling, and that's just to remain emotionless. Try not to smile. Try not to talk too much, but yeah, it's just easier to avoid those areas so you don't have to like worry about that all day. Just like any other product that has a lot of alcohol content in it or anything like this, you want to avoid the eye area. If you have this or if you buy this, the first thing you're going to notice is that it smells like paint thinner. So just that alone, just smelling it, makes your eyes want to tear up a little bit, and then even just getting in the general area of your eye, like the fumes, your eye instantly can sense it, and I don't even want to know what it would be like having it that close to my eye. So yeah, just don't do it because you don't want to go blind, you don't want to mess up your eye, so I would just avoid it at all costs. You can see I went pretty close to my eye, but I'm not like right on my eye. So you can go in areas around your eye and then maybe use makeup to shade the areas that are on your eye if you need a scar like that. But yeah, again, just avoid your eye area. Makes things a whole lot easier, and it saves you a trip to the emergency room. Another tip is to go ahead and actually take this and whatever products you're planning on using on the rest of your face for if you're going to like a con, a stage, anything, whatever event you're going to, take those actual products that you're going to use with the collodion and figure out which way is going to be best to apply it. First try applying the collodion on bare skin and then applying your products on top of it and see if they stick. And then also try doing your products first and then the collodion on top and see if that works out better. The reason I say this is some products will slide off of this. They won't stick because it's not natural skin, and other products will stick to it no problem. So in order to figure out which is going to be best and last the longest, it's better to go ahead, play around and experiment with the products before the day of the event, so that way when it comes, you already know what you're doing and you know it's going to last all day. Then the last tip that I would actually have about this product is removal. There's one easy way to remove it, and that's actually to peel it off. You can peel it off, it's totally safe, But I will say this, you only want to peel it off once every few days. If you put it on one day, peel it off, put it on the next day, peel it off, it can actually cause scarring. The reason it's okay to peel it off the first time is because it's actually just peeling off the top layer of dead skin cells with it. So if you apply it in the same area the next day and peel it off, you're actually pulling off newer skin cells, which is not good. It can cause the skin to scar if you do it that way. So put it on, peel it off, wait at least 3 days before you apply it in the same area again. You should be fine, but just to be safe, I would wait like a week before doing it again. If you do have to apply the product in the same area multiple days in a row, then you can use spirit gum remover, or you can actually use acetone to take it off. If you use pure acetone, use it with a Q-tip, and then use the Q-tip only on the areas where the collodion is. Try to avoid any other area of your skin. If you do get it on your skin, just make sure you cleanse your skin very, very thoroughly, and then moisturize very, very well, because acetone does dry out the skin. But now that I gave you guys those little tips and tricks about stuff about the product, I'm actually going to demonstrate how you can use it, which is very, very simple. So we'll just go right ahead and get into that. Alright, now the first thing that you want to do is, like I mentioned before, you don't really want to use this product in like high stress areas or places that have a lot of muscle movement, only because this will cause the product to peel off a lot faster. So if you just like look in a mirror and move your face around, like smile and like move your eyebrows if you can, and just see what parts of your face move. Since you saw my scar starts like over here and then comes down, when I go like that, you can see right here would be a high like movement area, and then also right here, but there's a nice clear area right in here that I can go with. So I'm going to mark it out, and I'm just going to use a red eyeliner to do this. You could use like a lip liner, you could use any color. The color of the scar is going to depend on the person, and then also how old or new the scar is, and then also how your skin would scar naturally. I am lucky enough to have a scar on my hand right there from when I cut myself with a razor blade. You can see I was playing with it, but that's how I scar. My scars are actually a lot lighter than my skin tone. So yeah, if you want the scar to look like it's just open and just now starting to heal, you can go lighter. You can put a little redness in it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just going to do it this way, and I'm using the red liner, and I'm just very lightly going to etch out the shape I want this to have. Now you can use the brush that actually comes in the product, or you can just buy really cheap disposable brushes. That way you can get like a smaller brush if you need it, or even a larger brush. That way you have a little bit more control over the product. I'm just going to use a really, really cheap paintbrush. I think there's like $2 or $3 at a craft store. And I'm going to do my first layer. Now, like I mentioned before, be very careful around your eye. You can see I start it over here. I'm not going that close to my eye. And then I'm just going to paint right on top of the line that I put on there. Now that I have that painted on, I did the first layer, and I'm going to let that dry completely. It only takes about a minute. When you feel this drying, you're going to feel your skin tense up a little bit, and that's going to create the scar effect. It might be uncomfortable at first, but you adjust to it pretty quickly. But you're just going to repeat that process as many times as you want. The more layers you do, the deeper and more extreme the scar looks. I normally do about 10 layers. So now that I have this on, it's drying. Once this is done, I'm going to go in and apply some more layers. So right now I have 5 layers on. It still looks really fake because it's extremely shiny and you don't see as much dimension with it yet, but you can see just how the light's hitting it. It's really dented in right here, and there's like indentations right here. But again, this is only 5 layers, and I'm doing at least 10 for the effect that I want. So in order to tone down some of the shine now before I add even more, I'm just going to go in with an invisible setting powder. You can buy a huge container like this of Coty powder, which at any drugstore for like $6, and if you're like a cosplayer or you're into theatrical makeup or anything, you can get the translucent one of this, and it's going to last you forever, so you don't have to spend like $40 on a powder. But I'm just going to take a powder that's like an invisible setting powder, it's translucent, and I'm just going to powder on top of the collodion. Alright, so I have a good 10 layers on. In some areas I put a little bit more. I did 13 right here, and then I also did 13 right here, but everywhere else has 10. You can do more or less in certain areas to have different degrees of depth. And I'll just zoom in really quick, because right here you'll see the biggest difference. If I tilt my head like that, you can see that the skin actually really does dent in right there, because I have so much of the product right there. Using a gray, if you're using a red, whatever color. On areas that have a lot more layers, you might want to apply a little bit of that color between a few of the layers. I put a little bit more of the red right here while I was doing this, only because it started to show up white. So I did a little bit of red and that instantly fixed it. But now, to control all the shine and then also make this look more realistic, I'm going to start doing some shading. Now, again, it's all going to matter on how fresh or how old you want this to look as to the colors you use, and if you put any like bruising around the scar, if you just make it blend into your skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in with a concealer that matches my skin tone, and I'm actually going to just dab this in areas on the scar and not completely all over it. And then I'm just going in with a makeup sponge, and I'm just going to dab the sponge on top. Then once you have all that to your liking, just go back in with your powder and just set everything to take away the shine that's left over. You want a little bit of shine left. You don't want it to look fake shiny, like it's plastic. But most scars have a little bit of a sheen to them, so you do want to maintain just a little bit of that shine. You can do whatever you want, you can make whatever shape. Gave you guys some tips and tricks about the product and some precautions in the beginning, and just showed you how to use it. So now you can just take that information and then have fun with it. Yeah, so I hope this video was helpful to some of you, and until my next video, I will talk to all of you soon. Bye.